year, Hurricane Idalia became the first major hurricane to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend in more than 125 years. Idalia brought storm surge as high as 8 feet above dry ground in Cedar Key, flooding homes and businesses and totaling cars across the Big Bend. The storm dumped double-digit rainfall. Despite the region's relatively low population density, Idalia still caused an estimated $3.5 billion in insured losses. So now is the time to do your own insurance checkup ahead of what could be a very busy hurricane season. Want to bring in Sean Kevelighan, CEO of the Insurance Information Institute. It is that time. You know, Sean, Dr. Knabb talks about this all the time. What do we need to be doing right now at the start of hurricane season?
Yeah, it is absolutely that time to get prepared as we see a lot of activity coming our way, especially given the hurricane forecast. So best first step is do a check-in or a checkup with your insurance professional. Make sure that you've got the right types of insurance. Make sure you have enough insurance to cover replacement costs. You know, we have to keep in mind that replacement costs year over 3 years through inflation went up 55% for homeowner replacement costs. So make sure you have enough insurance there. We talked about autos. Make sure if you want to be covered for floods with autos or storm coverage, you got to have comprehensive insurance. And ask for flood insurance. It just does not hurt to have flood insurance. 90% of all catastrophes involve flood. So it's important either through the government or a private insurer to get that flood insurance.
Sean, help us convince people to go do that annual insurance checkup. And one of the motivating factors, I think, can be it might actually save you some money, not just in the long run, but in the short term. Can you get some improvements to your home that can save on your premiums? Can you bundle insurance policies together? What are some of the strategies to save money, making you happy when you walk out the door after that insurance agent visit?
Yeah, well, you know, the good thing about being in the U.S. with insurance is that you're in the most competitive market in the world. So you have options. And so you do have ways that you can get savings, as you mentioned, through bundling. But also if you take steps to make yourself more resilient, you know, getting yourself to make sure your roof is in good shape, making sure that you may have tie downs for windstorms or windproof windows and doors. All of those things will get factored into the pricing of your insurance. Because what's also important to understand is when the loss happens, sometimes the loss can be so tragic that you will never recover everything. So it's best to figure out how can you prevent things. And being preventative through resilience measures is a great way.
And Sean, following up on that, are there some instances in which you can do things to make your home stronger that will cost a little money, but you'll make up for that in lower insurance premiums?
You know, it always depends just exactly on who your provider is, but absolutely you want to make sure asking your insurer, asking your insurance professional, are there ways that I can improve my home so that will better underwrite the risk? You know, the price of insurance is a reflection of the risk. It's not the cause. And so you want to make sure to talk with your professional again. See if you can fortify your roof. There are fortified standards now. Get roof tie downs, windproof windows. All of those things get factored in. A fire alarm system also gets factored in. These are all ways that you can reduce your risk. This is a mutual, you know, beneficial exchange that you're having with your insurance company. You are in this together. You're owning your own risk in doing so.
Sean, I think a lot of people are surprised, even though we mention it a lot, that there is a 30-day waiting period for some of these insurance policies. So right now, if you made a change today, we're talking about July 5th. What is the waiting period for? Is it all types of insurance or just flood insurance?
Well, it does depend on the insurance and the provider, but generally we do like to say on the flood insurance in particular, it takes about 30 days. You know, general homeowners insurance, you can get that renewed pretty quickly and in time, but with the flood insurance, especially if it's with the National Flood Insurance Program, on average, that takes about 30 days to kick in. And oftentimes what we see is people start calling the insurance provider when they're seeing the flood come toward the door, and that's obviously going to be a little too late. So as we talked about in the beginning of this segment, let's get in front of this. Let's predict, let's prevent, let's call your insurance provider and get what you need to make sure you get through the catastrophe okay.
And Sean, let's talk a little bit about in the last minute we have about the cost of flood insurance. Can you give us the numbers on what is the average annual premium for flood insurance? And then on the benefit side, what is the difference in terms of the help you can get, the payout you can get if you have or don't have flood insurance?
Well, generally, the premium can be anywhere, depending on the dwelling and things like that. The premium on average can be around $1,000 for the year for a flood insurance policy. But it is, to your point, important to remember that if you don't have flood insurance and you get flooded, the government's recovery program is not going to be nearly enough. Generally, what we find is those that are rely on the FEMA programs to help them recover get a few $100s, whereas if you have flood insurance, you will get your dwelling replaced. Again, that helps you fully recover, or as much as possible recover from the tragedy.
Well, Sean Kevelighan, CEO of the Insurance Information Institute, always helpful to have you. You break it all down for us and make it understandable. We appreciate your time.
Always great to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.